morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. This Thursday morning, it's raining outside. I hope that the weather where you are is good. And no matter the time zone, you have your favorite drink at hand and are ready to listen to this room. Today we've got Steve Lejeune. Steve, I hope that I don't mispronounce your name.
It's actually good, yeah.
Thank you. So we have been having these conversations with Steven for a while about marketing and particularly marketing in Japan and also marketing to small businesses and for small businesses. And there have been a few topics which have come up every time we had a conversation. So, but the general theme is that there are a lot of misconceptions about marketing. Marketing is definitely a very cool topic, a very cool thing to talk about. It is a cool field to work in, but there are also a lot of things which many people don't understand or misunderstand. And the point is that, behind marketing, there is science. And if you don't follow the science and apply your sense and the latest, discoveries in the field, so there is a very high possibility for you messing up your marketing, no matter whether you're a marketing agency or a small business or a company working anywhere in the world. So today we've got Steven, and we are going to hear what he has to say first. So as Steven mentioned, this is the first step to a project which we're working on, and hopefully it will develop further with into a series about marketing and marketing misconceptions and marketing ideas and principles as well. But today we are going to talk about targeting, strategy, and also data, the importance of all these things. And now I would like to give the floor to Steven. Steven, please introduce yourself and let's start.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much, Maya. Good morning, everybody. My name is Steven. I work as VP for a company called My Circle International. I am a business, sales, and marketing strategist specialized in digital and automation marketing. I own two digital marketing agencies, one in Japan and the other one based in Honolulu, Hawaii. We mostly focus on lead generation for online and offline conversion using a blend of digital strategies. We are actually part of a larger corporation located in Idaho, in the United States, that has developed its own marketing automation platform. And I think we are very fortunate to be part of this organization because it gives us access to one of the most advanced tools in terms of targeting. Behavioral targeting, psychographic targeting, such as personality, attitude, interest, or hobbies, lifestyle, and more. This is critical these days when it comes to delivering your message to the right audience at the right time, using the right channels, while being mindful of industry best practices. We count companies like Microsoft, Yahoo, Bing, and Google as corporate partners, which truly gives us a strong edge when it comes to big data. We actually have direct access to Google's backend technology, which is pretty cool and valuable because our technology basically sits right above Google's, so that's useful. We then use our dashboard to plan, coordinate, manage, and measure all marketing campaigns, both online and offline. And of course, we pair it with life cycle marketing strategies to closely manage our leads and convert them into customers. And that's for my introduction. Like Maya said, the three keywords that I would like you to highlight here is target, strategy, and data. These are very important moving forward because there is a science behind the concept of marketing, like Maya said. Whether you have a large budget or no budget at all, you need to know your target audience, your customers, your market, and have a comprehensive strategy that brings results and be able to scale it. we manage marketing campaigns for Fortune 500 companies and other businesses of all sizes from various industries, promoting travel destination, political campaign, e-commerce, for-profit, non-profit, brands, etc. In my view, and we talked about it, right? One of the most challenging group of clients I ever had the privilege to work with are independent small business owners. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really love working with small and medium-sized businesses and watch them grow over time. But as we talked about it, in my personal experience, what I found astonishing in Japan is the degree of misconception about marketing and the level of effort it takes to break people away from them. I said challenging because most of those small business owners and entrepreneurs are having a preconceived notion of what marketing is or is not. And this only ends up hurting their business opportunities. Quite frankly, I don't blame them. I mean, seriously, even marketing professionals can seem to agree on a clear definition of the job. The marketing landscape keeps on getting more and more diverse and downright contradictory at times and confusing. And if it's okay with you, the way I was thinking of doing this is to go over a few examples of a misconception that I experienced while speaking to small business owners and executives, and maybe we can find out where those misconceptions come from. Is that okay?
Yes, it is. Yes.
All right. So some business owners may have done attempt at marketing in the past and failed, perhaps because they thought they could do it on their own, or because they hired the wrong help. And now they are no longer trusting the process or seeing the value in marketing. I'll give you some examples. You have some owners that completely refute the idea of marketing. They would say things like, marketing is a waste of money, it doesn't work. Or I don't need marketing. We have word of mouth. Let me take it this way. Marketing is a waste of money. Well, when this thought comes to mind, you're effectively saying that your service or product is a waste of money. Just think about it for a second. It's like saying your product and service are not worth promoting. You have already invested money, time, energy into your business. How else would you get a return on your investment, right? When they say that marketing doesn't work, it's like saying accounting doesn't work. What did you expect from it? Oh, and I forgot. There's another misconception that I often hear is that my business is too small for marketing. Besides, I have my regular customers and that is enough for me. Well, everything you do is marketing. How you set your prices, your location, it's all about, everything is part of the marketing mix. You probably heard of the 4 Ps. Now I think it's 7 Ps or 9 Ps or 20 Ps. I don't know. Marketers always add a new P every year, but originally it's all about product, place, price, and promotion. Those are the 4 Ps of the marketing mix. Your logo, your concept, how you package your goods, how you speak to your customers, your suppliers, your coworkers, etc. All of that is pure marketing, and that also includes word of mouth. And because these are all marketing, you need to have a strategy in place and implement it. But poor strategy or plan, well executed, is far better than a good plan sitting on the shelf. Would you agree? The ultimate goal is to keep your business afloat and generate revenue. People won't buy from you if they don't know you, trust you, or like you, and see the value on what you have to offer. When it comes to having regular customers and the idea of being too small for any type of marketing, keep in mind that small businesses have the most to gain from marketing to begin with. Just because you have established loyal customers, it doesn't mean that that they won't pick up and go elsewhere at the first sign of a better deal. You need a strategy to continue building on that loyalty so that they keep coming back over and over again. And yes, word of mouth is one of the most powerful form of marketing. In fact, I think the number is, I was looking at it the other day, I think it was like 94 or 92% of people trust referrals. I will say it again, even word of mouth is marketing, and therefore you must have a strategy in order to control the narrative. And speaking of word of mouth, because I mean, at the end of the day, everybody talks about it. Everybody, small, medium, large business, we all know that word of mouth is so powerful, right? But we tend to overlook the fact that negative word of mouth also exists. And it travels 10 times faster and further than the positive one. Even if we, let's just take an example, and for the, we're gonna look at it in from a positive word of mouth perspective. When I talk about controlling the narrative, right? Let's say you own a restaurant. Everybody that comes through your door may value a complete different aspect of your business. They will have a complete different experience, an image of you. Some may remember you for the food, others for the atmosphere, somebody else for the drinks, and perhaps the great service that they receive. It could end up being a real mess in terms of messaging and brand positioning, and you will lose the value and consistency of your message. You need a strategy to monitor and control that narrative. Now, moving on to another misconception is that marketing equal advertising, or advertising equal marketing. I often hear business owners saying like, well, I advertise all the time. That's my marketing. Well, I can't say it enough. There is so much more to marketing than just having a website, placing an ad, or distributing a flyer. The best marketing plans consist of more than just traditional advertisement. You need to build up your brand and engage with your consumers in variety of creative way, if you want to get the most out of your marketing effort. Now, is advertising marketing? Well, the answer to this is yes and no, because without advertising, marketing is less effective, and without marketing, advertising can be a waste. Some business owner may want to do everything themselves, and this is good. Why not? And quite honestly, some people are actually really good at it. But at the end of the day, you're the best person to tell your stories, right? Talk about your business, and you are the one that has the most at stake if your campaign fails. But it all comes down to how much you value your time. And you and I, Maya, talked about this the other day, and I was giving the example of the hairstylist, right? If you have a hairstylist that charge typically 5,000 yen per hairdo, and we know that the average internet user spend about 2 hours. Actually, the number is 2 hours and 24 minutes online each day for the average internet user. But for the sake of the example, let's say that our hairstylist is spending 2 hours each day on marketing, posting on social media, designing a flyer, creating Instagram stories, anything, right? The way I would look at it is that, well, he is missing the opportunity to make an extra $3,000 in monthly revenue, 300,000 yen in monthly revenue, trying to play marketers. It may work to some degree, but his reach is very limited and not very scalable. He cannot replicate whatever he's going to do today, tomorrow, and then just make it improve his result. He'll be better off investing some of that money into professional help, somebody that knows what they're doing in order to build up his market positioning and get people to come through his door, so he can just focus on what he loves and does best, which is cutting hair, right? Another example that I often hear from small business owners is that, well, uh, my friend is a designer and he's very good at using social media. He can help with my marketing. This is true, but does your friend know all the industry best practice? That unknowingly, the algorithm of some of the platform may penalize you for purposely limiting your reach simply because you have too much text on the picture. That maybe your friend's activity is considered as spamming, and that you're being dropped in terms of quality score because you have a conflict branding issue. Can this friend design and target the audience you need to grow and sustain your business? Does he have access to the necessary tools and data to effectively market your business? I mean, I may sound a little bit dramatic. Of course, anybody can market their own business by himself, but it's just my personal opinion that a small business owner should be focusing on running the business first, rather than learning a new set of skill and trying to do marketing, because they can actually end up doing the wrong thing that would actually more hurting their business a little more. And they don't need this this time and age. There's another misconception that I really want to talk about, and that is influencers. Because I was with my wife the other day, and we were browsing Facebook, and I was seeing ads about influencers, and as you know, I'm not very good at speaking Japanese, so let alone reading it. So I asked her, hey, can you tell me what this ad is saying? And it was basically an ad promoting influencers and how they are helping businesses, and that's why we should hire them, because they're the solution to the headache. Well, the thing is, we often mistaken audience and influence. Because someone has a large audience and following base doesn't mean that he or she has the juice to influence anyone to take action that would matter or benefit your business. So that's a huge misconception, because I see a lot of business owners actually falling into that, and it's heartbreaking. It's actually disturbing to watch how hopeful small businesses are when dealing with influencers, especially in Japan. Whether they deal with self-proclaimed social media influencer, or even when they receive media coverage from the local TV station, local TV reporter is coming. They come with the camera, they shoot your little omiyage shop, and or magazine is writing about you, newspaper. I mean, it's all good, but it's not scalable. Again, you cannot. The result cannot be replicated, and although the business might experience a boost at some point, it's going to die down eventually, right? So the idea is building the strong foundation and your strong a strong customer base and that loyalty. Don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting the value that a legitimate and powerful influencer can bring to the table, but majority of self-proclaimed influencers are more interested in creating content to promote their own channel than genuinely care and promote your business. Now, when we run a campaign for a small business client, there's another type of misconception that we see. Is, for example, marketing is too expensive. It takes too long to see results. What else is, or it could be the opposite. Good marketing delivers fast results. So if I don't get fast result, that means my marketing campaign is bad. Well, I'd like to take the example of if today you go to the gym and later tonight you stand in front of the mirror. Would you see any result? No, you won't, right? But tomorrow you do it again. Go to the gym, and then you stand in front of the mirror. You're not going to see a result, and even after a week, you're not going to see any result regardless. And but over time, if you keep on going to the gym consistently, you will start seeing that you're losing weight and you gain muscle. And so that's how I suggest that small business owner do it. They have to look at marketing initiative as going to the gym, right? And so results don't come right away. It takes time in marketing because you need to educate, you need to earn the trust. But it's sometimes that often what I often hear from small businesses in terms of spending strategy is actually funny. I want to stay within the gym analogy. They say, well, I just want to put a little bit of money towards marketing until I see result, then I will invest more. So marketing is an investment in yourself and your business. Would you hire a personal trainer and say, I will work out with you once every other week, and once I start seeing result, I will work out with you more? Doesn't make sense, right? What do these examples have in common? Well, to me, it's a clear misconception about marketing and wrong expectations. Here's another one, for example. When you work with a marketing agency or independent marketer and spend X amount of money, I often notice that people would expect to become number one because they spend money in marketing. That doesn't make sense as well. Remember, we have been talking about marketing this whole time and not sales. And although those two are linked with one another, they're different. Sales is actually part of the marketing fields within the marketing mix that we talked about earlier. You have in the marketing field, you have things like market research that's very important. You have brand management, you have advertising, public relation, promotion, retailing, and of course you have sales. Marketing is a tool that generates leads. The better the leads, the better chances you have to turn them into paying customers. Because you're a single man, for example, and want to find a girlfriend, simply showing up at the party is not going to get you the girl, right? So you need to work for it. So first, you have to go to the party. Second, you have to work on your design, right? You have to wear your best suit. You have to, how do you call that? Peacocking, I think. Then you have to, little by little, approach your target, earn their trust, let them get to know you, and then you can close the deal, and everybody is hoping for a lasting relationship rather than a one-night stand. So the concept of marketing is kind of similar to that. Bottom line, the purpose of marketing is to implement a strategy that raises awareness about your business, product, and service in order to persuade people to do business with you. It is essentially the core of business strategy because it is about understanding the current customers and having product and service that the ideal customer is willing to buy from a brand that they know, like, and trust. In other words, it's more about education than transaction, which is pretty much like what sales would do. What I would like to people to take out of this conversation is that marketing is not the cure to every business problem. It's simply a tool. It's important to find the balance between what you can invest and what you should invest, and have realistic expectation when you do marketing. Otherwise, everybody should be a billionaire by now. There are strategies available that will get you a great result and for the best price. And having a real expert in your corner will actually get you there. So that being said, I think we can just go on and on and on and talk about different aspect of marketing and misconception, but I think I should be good for now. I've been talking for what, half an hour.
Yes, you have.
Oh
Thank
my
you very
God,
much
I'm
for.
so thirsty now.
Okay, thank you very much for letting us know about the misconceptions of marketing which you have encountered and you have been working with. So first of all, I would like to invite everybody who is in the audience to join up us and talk with us with Steven and share your experience or your questions, because as Steven said, marketing is very important. It is important for every business. For small businesses, for large businesses, it is important even for companies or let's say services that have only online presence, not really physical offices. So, but my question to Stephen first is, so Stephen, you said that you have met people, and small business owners who think that their businesses are too small for marketing. And my question is, what do you tell them? Because obviously, such business owners are the ones who can benefit the most, of somebody working with them and helping them get out and be seen by more people. So, how do you approach them? What do you do?
Well, I think personally for the small business owners, they have the opportunity to actually connect on a more human and deeper level with their consumers, with the market, and since they're already on social media. A lot of them they love Instagram and Facebook and TikToks, and they like to play with these technologies. And I often tell them, engage with your customer base, and people that are following you, because even though you're on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm not a expert in Facebook, Instagram per se, right? It's more about strategies, but I noticed that they don't share any um, digital currency. I like to call that. If somebody likes your picture, you like bike. And if they like your picture, you leave a little comment saying, "Hey, thank you for liking this picture. What do you like about it?" Just open a conversation and show your audience or your followers that you're not just a business, a brand, that you're actually a human being behind that company. So and build that relationship. So that's one.
Well, that's actually part of the strategy. Like you show
That's
your yes, you show your customers, or you tell them that they should show their human face first. So well, because what I gather from your from your presentation in the beginning is that well, basically every business needs a strategy, and so as you said, and probably we both said it, but that there is a science behind marketing, and that's why a lot of marketers actually are aware of the marketing pyramid, and strategy is the base of the pyramid. That's the most important part, and without it you cannot start doing anything in a consistent way. So, and that's where you actually do your research. You learn who your ideal customers are, the buying personas, and so after that you continue with the next stages, and you build all your strategy around the target customer. Is it right?
that's right. You need to know your customer, and what you often see when we talk about strategy, and especially for small business owners, because at the end of the day, if I want to open a pizza restaurant, I'm a pizzaiolo, right? I'm not a marketer, so why should I even bother talking about strategy and marketing? But But people's gonna say, and I'll realize that, oh well, I'm gonna need a website, right? So then I create a website, and then what do I do with that? What is the strategy behind it? What message do I want to get out there? What kind of reputation do I want to have? What kind of product or pizza I want to feature on my website that will make my reputation in the market? But the thing is, um, just as an example, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was a client. He became a client at one point in Atami. He's not in business anymore, and he did like a little pop up boutique. So he approached me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna open a new shop. I want to do some marketing." I said, "Okay, sure." So we drafted a proposal and we went with branding and everything. And he said he had a PR company in charge of his PR. Okay, that's great. So we're just gonna focus on what? On branding and sales and I said, no, I don't need branding. I don't need branding. I have my PR and stuff. Okay, well, but then when we launched the campaign, all the result that we saw on the analytics and in terms of sales campaign, we saw that we were only bringing leads. But the problem is because he didn't have any strategy and his PR firm didn't have a strategy in place to even make the market aware of and educate the market about his brand, his shop, his business. People didn't really act, So we have a way to actually measure the offline conversion on top of the online one. So we were seeing people coming to his shop. We were measuring those people coming in, but they weren't buying. Not because the product was bad. I mean, I tasted it, I liked it, but it was just so new, so unknown, and people needed to be educated. So that's a good example of doing something without a strategy.
It sounds to me that because the product was new and unknown, there wasn't enough trust. So the customers,
exactly.
Yes, so he actually needed to build trust and a good rapport with his customers. I see. Well, and I also have a question to you. So they say that, of course, big companies, corporations, they've got great marketing strategies, at least most of them, and they have the means and the reach, to actually implement those strategies. But we have seen nowadays that very few of them are doing well in times of fast changes, and basically it is we have seen that small businesses are much more agile and they can adapt to these changes in customer needs and new trends in a much shorter time. The problem with them though is that they don't have the means to develop those strategies and to scale their activities. So I think that when we were talking with you, you mentioned about an initiative which you have about for small businesses. So how do you approach the problem, to help them? I mean, people or businesses who work and try to adapt and to develop further in such fast changing times.
Oh yeah, that's a project that we put this in place actually last year when COVID hit, right? And you're right, small businesses are very agile. Like a lot of them actually realized that they needed to pivot their activity and operation, and which is harder to do when you're running a large organization because you have more red tape, right? So anyway, a lot of them just went from serving food, for example, at a table to, well, now I have to think about takeout food and roadside delivery or things like that. So what we did last year, because of course we could appreciate the fact that there was no cash, right? People were needed money, and when you do those kind of pivot and you have to put those messages out there, it could cost money because maybe now you need to get somebody to do your redo your website. I mean, a page of your website and put your menu online and put a whole system in place so you can get some reservation and calls and things like that. So what we did, we actually used our own website and created like microsites for small businesses, and we decided to do like a group marketing per either per industry or areas, and and launch a marketing campaign for them that would cost typically at a minimum. I'm talking about on investment because like the way we do our marketing, it's all about the bidding, right? We bid to get the on eyeballs, but so typically it was like $25,000 to $3,000 on a monthly spending, but now they're all together in a group, and we actually took care of the bill. Like we didn't ask them to pay anything. Like, you know what, we're all in this together. If locally my market dies, I don't have a job either, right? So I got to support them, and then we work with different organizations such as Chamber of Commerce in the city of Mishima, another organization, and we created a crowdfunding that eventually people started donating money, and then we paid for those awareness type of campaign. So that was pretty cool.
So it sounds very much like marketing was not actually a waste of money for them. They benefited from from that initiative, right?
They did, but it's more about the mindset. It's what they were doing on the side that was very interesting. Because
yes,
if you have extra money to throw in order to help your business move forward, don't do it on a those big flag. I don't know how you call that. And just put it outside of your shop. And remember, we live in rural Japan, right? It's not like you have tons of traffic, but you spend a lot of money on that little banner. Just invest that money, usefully. Like now, I think people actually don't know all the technology that is available out there, and that is not necessarily very expensive. There's always a way to cut costs, but yeah, I mean, I've seen people spending $2,000 or $5,000 on monthly spending in marketing just to be listed in some website, And I'm like, why are you doing this for? Well, because this website has 5 million visit on a monthly basis, and I'm like, how much of those 5 million do you get? And so I don't know. So, well, it's $5,000 that you're spending every month. So I think a lot of small business owners, they just need guidance, in my opinion, right?
Yes, obviously. So once again, we are going back to the keyword target your ideal customer, right? Because as you mentioned, so some local businesses, they are listed in let's say national on national sites. Like, what's the site which you mentioned the other day? I don't remember. It's
there's plenty of them. I think there's a hot pepper. There's a
yes,
hot
one. Pepper. I remember that.
Hot pepper beauty and hot pepper restaurant. There's what they have for the food, the restaurant. There's Tabelog, for example.
Tabelog, yes. But the point at the end of the day is you need to know how many of those people who see your ad there live in the area where you operate, right? So, and if just a few of them live there, so obviously those $2,000 or $5,000 per month are not really justified. Yes.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly,
Mm.
I mean, I'm not even sure if you can actually get a some sort of report from these companies, because I mean these are big companies we're talking about, right? They have those sites. It's nationwide, and they have thousands of companies from different industries listed on them. So I don't know how that works exactly, but yeah, it's if you have a little business in my city, like in Mishima, for example, you would want to know. First of all, in my area, population-wise, we're looking at like four hundred thousand people for that Izu area, and so yeah, so the 5 million that comes to the site is irrelevant, really.
Yes, thank you for that. Hayato, good morning.
Oh, hi, how are you? Very interesting story. So, I have like a couple questions I'd like to ask on the marketing, or I'd like to share your experience. Right. So first one is, I do have a way, like my best friend, who is considered to be one of the leading experts in the marketing and branding in Japan. And he tells me that the marketing is a very simple, straightforward. Because if you want to get, say, $10 million revenue next year, you put it into the media. That formula is a fixed formula. There's nothing more and nothing less. So I'd like to share to get your kind of opinion there. And number two, I've been trying to get those Japanese small companies like all the inventors or this guy to take those business to like the global market. And many, I'm sure you run into a bunch of those guys. They just think that well, like the product is good, it could be sold, everybody should be coming to them to buy their product, right? So those guys don't, they assume the marketing is like it has no value at all. It's a product good enough. So I'm kind of wondering, what's your experience there? Because my kind of experience there is like cost about 20-30 million just to do branding globally to be competitive like any other players. So that's number two. My last question is, you run into those guys who have no clue, appreciation marketing, and why would you like to deal with it? That's my last question. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your question. And I was thinking about question number one, and I was like, oh, that would be so great if that was true. If it was like some sort of formula where if you spend this amount of money, you get this amount of result and money in return. Yeah, no, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, and it's. I mean, just think about it. How many people are doing marketing around the world, and and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have much to say about number one because beside the fact that no, it doesn't work like that. And in terms of number two, does the product sell itself, right? This is basically what you were asking, Hayato-san. Like, some people believe that all you need to do is to have a good product and people would come to you.
Yeah, that's right. A bunch of those. What do you think about those?
Well, I mean, you can create the best product in the world. You can have the best restaurant in the world. You can have make the best car in the world. But what good it is if it just stays in a garage, right? You need to go in front of the market. You need to introduce what you did. You need to explain why it is the best. People are not going to come to you. It does no good. Like if you climb the mountain, you kind of want the world to know about it because otherwise you're just the only one climbing the mountain by yourself. So my point is, it's a bad strategy to think that you can actually just believe that the product will sell itself. Otherwise, it would be well known. And thirdly, the question is why am I doing business with people and trying to people that actually don't believe or see the value in marketing. And to me, when I do marketing, it's all about helping people. And I've never been in marketing my whole life. I actually came from the hospitality industry. My background is tourism, hotel, and hospitality, and I always loved the concept of marketing. And And when I opened my first company, I actually fell in love with marketing just because I loved my product, and I was like, hey, oh my God, I want everybody to know about it, right? And I didn't know how. Eventually, I mean, I opened a second company. I have some company that I completely failed horribly, and but it, it always come down to, because of my service background, I just want to help people, and because I've been in those people's shoes where I was clueless about marketing, and I know how valuable it is now that I work full time as a marketing person. That yeah, I would just want to share what I do and what I know. I hope that answered your question.
Cool. Well, thank you. I'm kind of wondering, maybe better off just focusing on hospitality because everybody needs help right now.
Okay, thank you. Just if I can chime in, and touch upon your first question, Hayato, it's about and as Steven said, that about the formula of how much you invest and how much you get in return. So that's the return on investment. Obviously, there is no formula about that. And it all depends on a number of factors. All of them are variable. So, in every case, it's really a different story. And the point is that, yes, marketing is a science. There is a science behind the concept, but there is also, the importance of experience, the marketer's experience, the marketer's willingness to keep up with the recent trends in the field, and also the sense, how well they can keep their finger on the pulse of the time. So it's all about, of course, variables as well. So yeah, if you need better return on investment, you obviously need to find a marketer who has all of these plus the necessary tools, the hardware for this. I hope this helps a little bit too.
Yeah, and if I can add, also I see a lot of coming from my field, right, the marketing side. Sometimes a lot of marketers actually lack the care, and all they're chasing is the money, and that's also very important. So when you deal with a marketer as a business owner, is to try to feel also the connection, like it's easy to spot when somebody just will try to sell you a website that would cost $10,000 when you own a soba restaurant. You don't need a $10,000 website for your soba restaurant. I mean, realistically, right? But it's very important that I mean, there's a few bad apples in the industry that actually doesn't really help the current situation, and which is that a lot of small business owners mistrust the concept of marketing.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, so, and if Stephen, I will move on. So we've got Jovan. Jovan, good morning. Thank you very much for coming up. Hello.
Thank you so much for getting in, and thank you so much, Stephen, for the talk. And I have two questions. The first one, it's been a trend about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and how many companies and industries are trying to adopt or engage with these SDGs, these goals from United Nations. I might be completely wrong, but I kind of don't see a marketing being engaged with SDGs and with sustainability. Is there any effort from the marketeers to really engage in SDGs and bring sustainability in any way? That's the question number one. And the question number two, it's about artificial intelligence and tools from Google and Facebook. They sometimes use maybe too much data from private data that marketing campaigns use to target very specifically. So there's a big battle between how much you own the data, how much you want to share with the companies, and what is the right of third companies or marketeers to use your private data to be targeted, to be sold. What are your thoughts about these? Sorry, the question maybe a bit too complicated, and I don't want to be mean, but let me just put in my devil's advocate hat, just to I would like to see your insight. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your question. And the first one was about the SDGs, right? And I'm personally part of JC, the Junior Chamber International, and I know that everybody has the SDG everywhere, and that Japan was actually huge. And I'm sure, I mean, I'm probably not the best person to talk about it, but from my experience, I heard that Japan was very, very good at pushing the idea of the sustainability, and you see everybody wearing the badge, and I too, if you look at my profile picture, I think I'm wearing it. And Japan was actually very impressive, pushing the SDGs, and even coming from America, people were like, whoa, wow, the Japanese people are totally on top of that. But now it all comes down to, I mean, for companies, it all comes down to how they are marketing it. And the way I see it is just, I'm just going to put a little banner on my website saying that this is what I believe in. Am I going to follow through? Am I going to take action and make sure that in terms of PR and marketing, that people know that these are the values that we stand for? No, the messaging and the communication is very, very weak. And that just falls into how I see marketing in Japan in general. It's just very, very passive, So that's the way I look at it. And in terms of AI and their relationship with marketing, I mean, to be honest with you, that's what we do, us, with our automation system. And the reality today is that I hear a lot of noise, like people complain about and are very concerned about privacy. But at the end of the day, when you want to have and use an iPhone or a certain app, we ask you, do you agree that we will use your data and information to help for marketing purpose? And you have the choice to say yes or no. And most of the time, people say yes because they want to use their iPhone. So they give the authorization. And I mean, I personally don't think it's a bad thing. I know some people think it's scary, but I think, it just helps me not receiving some ad about product that I don't care about. It's more targeted. It's more, you have things like Alfonso, for example. That is a scary one. When you know that your television is listening to you in your living room in order to hear keywords that came out of your mouth when the television was off between you and your wife. And so we can deliver better ads to you. Okay, that's scary. I mean, and I think it was Panasonic or something that got in trouble for that a little bit. But I mean, the technology is still out there, like Alexa. So I understand the concern, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is the world we live in, and we have to live with that now.
It sounds to me that, it also, the responsibility falls partly on the consumer, on the user of these technologies, so that they can protect themselves too. But of course, it also, the responsibility lies partly, probably more than 50% anyway, on the companies that use the technologies to inform the consumers that they are using the technologies, and there might be, a breach of privacy and such things. And I guess that, Timothy Langley is here, and he has been in our Sunday rooms. He has been talking about the digital agency and such things. And I guess that these matters, they will be regulated in Japan once, the digitalization really picks up here. So let's see what happens. That's a totally new area, I believe. And of course, Japan is a country, it is a market where private information and that's the personal information, and the use of it actually will be regulated. I believe that it will be regulated quite a lot, because there is a lot of sensitivity about this among the general population in the country. Jovan, I hope that we answered your questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, and we also have Jan. Jan, good morning. Thank you very much for coming up. So what's your question today, or what's your comment?
So I would, first of all, you were talking about Alexa, and so I just noticed that the name Alexa and the popularity of the name Alexa has dropped dramatically in the last 3 years. Just a little comment, but I run a small business, and we primarily sell tea. We primarily ship tea to the United States and Europe from Japan, and we've grown to a point where I need to decide where next to spend my marketing budget, and I was wondering if you had any insights about what I should be thinking about when making the decision of where to spend that money. Obviously there are now tons of ways to reach customers, and from different types of advertising to content marketing to all kinds of, where do we put our resources, and how do you make the decision on where to put resources? Thank you.
Well, that's where automation is actually very useful, but ideally it's all about, like I said earlier, it's knowing your customer and knowing your goal and have a strategy. And the thing is, if you know your customer, you know where to find them, and then based on the goal, whatever you want to accomplish, you know how to draft a message that would drive their intention and drive them to your business. But Ian, thank you very much. And by the way, I know I wanted to put a microsite for you on our platform, but you just reminded me that I have to do this. But anyway, no, to me, it's just about knowing your customer. If you do automation, for example, the AI will basically tell you where to find your customers and what platform to use, but it could be very pricey, and also it's only as good as the original data that you put inside, information that you put for the artificial intelligence to perform. So yeah, I mean, to me, it would be just how well do you know your customer? Where do you think they are?
Thank you, Steven. Yeah, maybe, well, I don't know whether you have been communicating with Steven, but it might be a good idea to continue talking with him, so that you can probably work together and see what the best solution for you and your business will be. Okay, I guess that Ian is probably busy now.
Sorry, thank you very much. I left my phone for a second.
Okay, thank you. That's all right. And so we are just, we have reached 9 o'clock. This is the initial intended hour for the end of the room. And well, thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Steven, if you would like to say a few words in closing just before we end the room, please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you very much, Maya. And so today was kind of like a trial on the project that we want to have together. And I think I kind of have a good idea on how we're gonna move forward. And definitely an hour. It's a long time talking, and it's easy to just cover way too much points and kind of get lost. So I really appreciated the opportunity and the question from people on stage. And yeah, so we're gonna. I don't know if we can share a little bit of what we're gonna do, but the misconception about marketing in Japan or anywhere else is actually very rampant, and we want to try to create like a small little conversation and segment and about typical misconception that we see. So if you do have some misconception examples, whatever you experience, or feel free to DM Maya or myself or Tim, and just tell us about your story, so we can cover this in our little series down the road.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much again. Well, if you would like to talk with Steven further about a project you're thinking about or about your business in general and how to market it, please contact him. You can also follow Japan Expert Insights. That's the green icon on top of this page. Because we're going to have regular rooms and develop this into series as well. And also, please give Steven and Timothy and everybody who is on stage here follow, so that you can keep in touch with them. With this, I'm going to say everybody has a great. Please have a great day, and we're very much looking forward to seeing you again. Well, I'm going to close the room in about a minute. Yes, Steven, please.
No, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. So see you next time. Enjoy the day.